Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning. Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. All right. Does this look like gold and silver are manipulated? Those are two different metals, by the way. Gold is a monetary metal. 99% of what is pulled out of the ground is stuck back in the ground in a vault. It's a monetary metal. Silver is the exact same thing. Actually, it's been a monetary metal longer and used more than gold for monetary purposes. So, on one sense, on the monetary side, I would say silver is more important than gold. On the industrial side, it's a no-brainer. Over 60% of everything that's mined out of the ground today is completely demolished into flat screen TVs, into solar panels, into electric cars, you name it. If it's got electricity running through it, most likely it's got some silver somewhere. But they trade on exactly the same computer programs. Isn't that unique? Isn't that different? Bankers don't care. Actually, they want the price of gold to go through the roof. They do not want silver to go through the roof. That's the key. You can't have society doing what it does today with silver going through the roof. There's just not enough of it to go around. And we are seeing that now when you try to go buy any form of silver now. The premiums are higher than they've ever been for any form of silver. Silver Eagles, what are they? $42 to $45 on the retail side. Now they're coming out of the mint at the cost of the silver they buy, the raw silver, off the COMEX, that's where they get it, or the LBMA, the big 1,000-ounce bars, that's their cost. And the U.S. Mint, for some reason, by law, they're not allowed to mark it up, the price of silver, as the only costs that are supposed to be added to the Silver Eagles are the cost of manufacturing. There's no profit legally allowed at the U.S. Mint when it comes to bulk Silver Eagles. And yet they make all this money. No, they aren't selling it for the massive premiums. That's at the dealer, the direct dealer wholesalers, because they can't get them. Ventris Gibson, the queen of the mint, can only make 900,000 coins per year. Every other mint director in the past has made double or triple that, except Ventris Gibson, the Obama appointee, who's never, ever, ever run the show at a mint, never even worked at a mint before Obama put her there, can only make 900,000 coins. Did every single U.S. Mint employee that was processing these, 30, 40,000 or 40 million coins every year, did every person lose their brain when COVID hit? Can they not figure out to do what they used to do? No, it's complete bullshit. Ventris Gibson even told you it's complete bullshit when she announced, and it's in the annual report, that they vastly increased the amount of Silver Eagles they are making, but they won't sell them to you. Why are they hoarding them? Why did they change the back of the Silver Eagle to show an eagle landing on the nest, adding to the nest? Is what David Ryder, the guy who designed this or approved the design, the ex-head of the Treasury, he was in there for Trump. Why did they change the back of the Silver Eagle? Hadn't been changed in 87? That's a long time. And all of a sudden, as the world runs out of silver, why is the U.S. Mint adding to the nest? They're getting ready for something big. So yes, the price of silver is manipulated. We all know that. The price of gold is manipulated. Price of the U.S. dollar is manipulated. Take that. How do they do it? With derivatives. Massive derivatives. That's how prices are set on every exchange around the world. And I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, there's a battle at $25 silver. Who knows? I mean, I think the good guys are in charge, so ultimately silver will run, but you've got to be able to sit it out. If they click a mouse and put the price of silver at minus $20 or at $1 million an ounce, you got to remember this is all fake. All fake trades. About 500 million ounces traded every single day on the COMEX, which is the only place that the silver price is determined. You have to get your hands on physical. You have to be out of the third-party risk. Again, here is the production. I've already said they're on pace to do their lowest in history amount of Silver Eagles made and sold. Well, not made. We don't know how much they make. We do know how much they sell to the public. By law, they're supposed to sell in quantities equal to demand. And they aren't. They haven't been since Ventris Gibson got in office as the head of the mint director. I don't blame her, but I do blame her for lying. I blame Janet Yellen and the people who run Janet Yellen. I've met Janet Yellen. She couldn't run a laundromat. But there are people all around her who are intent on rigging every single market we have, including the stock market, the bond market. They're all going away too, by the way. It's these exchanges that are the problem. And there you go. There's your problem. Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, was the head of the CFTC when JP Morgan got busted for rigging the silver market. Finally, after 3 investigations that the CFTC couldn't figure out who's doing it. Oh no, the silver market's not rigged. And then voila, Trump gets in and they say, yeah, of course it was rigged. Don't be an idiot. And oh, by the way, Jamie Dimon, as you're trying to destroy the repo market, we're going to charge you with RICO charges, which is racketeering. It's shit they charge the Gambino family type of stuff. But Gary Gensler was the head of the CFTC while all this was going on. Bart Chilton, a CFTC commissioner, said, yeah, we knew that JP Morgan was rigging the market, but a political decision was made not to stop them. Who made that political decision? Gary Gensler. Who is Gary Gensler? He is the head of the SEC now, the guy deciding whether or not cryptocurrencies are good for you. And oh, by the way, if you want to know who orchestrated the latest crash in cryptos, it was Gary Gensler. He got everybody to buy into decentralized finance, the dumbest thing ever. Not in your possession, not your coins. How many times do I have to say that? If you don't have instant access to your coins, they are in deep doo-doo. I'm not saying don't stake, as long as those coins can only come back to your wallet. And it would take a change in the code for them not to. Anyway, so the war has been going on, continues to go on in silver because of Gary Gensler and his riggers. Who are the riggers? JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America now with this massive lease of JP Morgan's stolen silver. Who's it going to? Probably the U.S. Mint, probably Warren Buffett. I bet the majority of it is going to Elon Musk. The physical silver through Bank of America. Who, Ted Butler talks about this a lot. We saw that Bank of America increase their derivative position massively, over 1 billion ounces of silver, until the OCC, who measures this data, said, oh shit, we're showing the world what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to have to hide this. So they brought gold into the silver, other precious metals area, so you can't tell anymore. But we know it's there. The only question I have, Ted Butler seems to think the leases will be returned, and that was part of the obligation of the lease. Remember, with a lease, you can write anything you want. Anybody who's leased a car has seen that. You have purchase options at the end of the lease. You can buy it for fair market value. You can buy it for $20,000. You can buy whatever's in the contract, or you give the car back. That's the thing that Ted misses, I believe. Yes, he has nailed everything because he only counts. He doesn't go down the conspiracy route, because you don't need to prove manipulation in silver. It's there in the data. And Ted's very excited right now because all that's changing. The 4 big controllers of silver are running for the hills. Why? Because they know silver is massively undervalued. I have no doubt in my mind silver's going 1-to-1 with gold. More likely, much better. Because we need silver. We don't need gold. I think gold is going to be a great means of exchange because we have so damn much of it. There's so much gold in the world. There's not 200,000 tons like they lied to you about. There's millions of tons, and we have it just sitting waiting for us. So, yeah, keep an eye on what's going on with silver. When silver breaks, there'll be no stopping it. It will become unobtainium. Unobtainium, the greatest metal ever known. What is unobtainium? It means you're willing to pay any price for that ounce of silver, but you can't get it because nobody wants to sell it. So, yeah, this is an interesting time. Great article from Zero Hedge a couple days ago. Is there a worldwide run on the Bank of the United States of America? In talking this week with a friend from the United States seemingly imploding from within across multiple sectors, my friend stressed, quote, "It's not just from within. There is a run on the United States from certain nations and business interests around the world. Just like there was a run on banks after the collapse of Silicon Valley, many nations are either thinking about or actually proceeding with transferring at least a portion of their allegiance, assets, and commitments from the Bank of the U.S. to the Bank of China and elsewhere." Absolutely. I'm going to have Andy Scheckman on Wednesday to discuss the Belt and Road Initiative. He's been screaming about this for a very long time. The Belt and Road Initiative. What is the Belt and Road Initiative? China is trying to take the lead role in commerce of the world and is winning. This is from Wikipedia. The Belt and Road Initiative, known as BRI or B&R, known within China as One Belt Road, for short, is a global infrastructure development strategy adopted by the Chinese government in 2013 to invest in more than 150 countries and international organizations. It is considered a centerpiece of Chinese leader Xi Jinping's foreign policy. The BRI forms a central component to Xi's, quote, major country diplomacy strategy, which calls for China to assume a greater leadership role for global affairs in accordance with its rising power and status. It has been compared to the American Marshall Plan. As of January 2023, 151 countries are listed as to having signed up with the BRI. The participating countries include almost 75% of the world's population and account for more than half the world's GDP. So there's this massive initiative within China and all throughout the world now to leave the United States. The United States abused us. The trust and confidence and faith in the U.S. and the U.S. dollar is over. So what are they going to do? They're going to build out the Belt and Road. Here's a little global sketch of where they're trying to build out. With, as you can see, it goes into Russia. It goes down into South Asia. It comes all the way across to Europe. And all the way. And so Belt is, it's kind of backwards. Belt is the land thoroughfares they're building. So they can trade. As you build, it's like when the railroads got built from one side of America to the other, all of a sudden industry springs up. When you can travel between those distances, massive amount of economic activity happens along the way. So Belt is the road type of build out. And Belt and Road is actually the maritime road. It's this blue line going into Africa and up through all the oil producing countries and back and into Europe that way. So Belt and Road. So why am I saying this? This takes massive amount of silver for this to happen. And there is no industry in the world that is not hurting for silver. Electric cars are supposed to take 100% of the silver manufacturing come 2050. Where's the silver to build the Belt and Road Initiative? Every single one of those towns along the way are going to be wanting iPhones and computers and electric cars because it grows the prosperity all along that road. We cannot have that if you're a silver controller. Silver is going to be 1-to-1 with the price of gold, and I think gold's going to go up to $5,000 or $10,000 before the system collapses. And when silver goes 1-to-1, do the math. but it won't be all silver. People who own mines in like Mexico and foreign countries or South America, instantly that'll shut off. When silver's freely traded, it's going to go from $30 or $50 to $500 to $5,000. You name the price, you still won't be able to get it. You think any country is going to allow foreigners to own the wealth in the ground? No. They've been through that game before. Look at Mexico. Mexico's exported 33% of and supplied the whole world all that silver. They would be the richest country in the world. Do you think they're going to fall for this for another 10 years, 20 years, 100 years? No. They know. They know. People in Mexico might not know. Clearly the politicians and the bankers know what's in the ground in Mexico. Massive amounts of silver. In America, it is unknown. I have yet to see, there are some big mines that they're keeping under wraps, but I've yet to see any massive silver mine conspiracy. There's massive gold conspiracies all over the world because there's just so much of it. There's just so much hiding you can do. If you own gold, swap it for silver because that means you love gold. Let's say you own 10 ounces of gold. You can swap it today for 800 ounces of silver. Wait, no. Times 80,000. What is it? Shit. This is my brain working on overdrive. 10 ounces of gold would be 800 ounces of silver. So just 10 ounces of gold, you have 800 ounces of silver. Swap it today, and then when silver's freely traded, with that money, which will be 1-to-1, you'll have 80 times the amount of gold you would have had. Wouldn't you want 80 times the amount of gold that you have in your possession right now? If you want that, swap your gold for silver today, wait for silver manipulation to end, and then swap back. There you go. You just made 80 times the amount of gold that you would have had, which is 800 ounces of gold. You could turn 10 ounces of gold into 800 ounces of gold just by swapping your gold for silver, waiting for the end of price manipulation when gold and silver go 1-to-1 in price. Why 1-to-1? Bix, why 1-to-1? People keep asking me that. There's 1 billion ounces of silver above ground. There's 6 billion. 6 billion ounces of silver above ground, 6 billion ounces of gold. It should be priced at 1-to-1. Now it's coming out of the ground at 7-to-1, so they say. Okay, but 60% of that silver's not going into monetary silver. It's going right to industrial buyers who need it to make your computers, your flat screen TVs, your electric cars, your solar panels. Silver is needed. Gold is not. Gold gets dug up out of the ground and gets put back in the ground. But I love gold. Absolutely. It's a great form of money because there's so much of it. We have so much gold in the United States. I can just imagine the coffers of the U.S. Mint, how much gold money they have made in preparation for what's about to happen. Interesting on Gary Gensler, even the best thing that happened to cryptos was when Elon Musk started tweeting about Shiba Inu and all that. Why? Because it got millions and millions of people involved in cryptos. And then with the NFTs, millions and millions of people got in because of NFTs. But now those are people fighting on our side, fighting for the ability to use money as we see fit, not as people like Gary Gensler who want to control you see fit. He needs to be removed. There's a move to remove him. Representative Davison declares war on SEC boss Gary Gensler over a long series of abuses. Gensler's relentless regulatory scrutiny in crypto has resulted in growing dissent from members of his own agencies. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC Chair Gary Gensler's crusade against the crypto industry has prompted political pushback. United States Representative Warren Davidson is the latest to retaliate. The Ohio representative says he's introducing legislation to remove Gary Gensler as the SEC boss. Yeah, but are you going to replace him? if Gary Gensler goes, there's another guy right behind him. I think the biggest thing that, they're mad at him because he's putting on regulation. I'm mad at him because he rigs the markets. He set up the destruction of crypto in the latest. It's always been the U.S. government. Always been the U.S. government, the Treasury, and those controlling the computers at the New York Fed. In the basement of the U.S. Treasury, there's a computer trading room. It's going all the way down to Mt. Gox. It was the U.S. government that did that to Mt. Gox. And then the Mt. Gox bankruptcy, what do they call it? Custodian of the Bitcoin was told by the U.S. government to smash the price of cryptos in 2020. These are all operations run out of the U.S. Treasury. And then Gary Gensler allowed everybody to get into DeFi knowing, and that FTX bullshit, knowing that people are greedy and they'll rehypothecate, and then you slam the door and everybody gets destroyed. That was done by Gary Gensler. He was the mastermind of that. So of course he has to go. So does the CFTC. So does the SEC. We don't need regulators. But Bix, no one would join into the markets, and because there'd be so much fraud and criminal activity. Absolutely, you are correct. It goes on now, but you think you have you think the SEC and the government has got your back. They don't. It would be great if there was no more SEC, no more CFTC, because then people would learn. They wouldn't invest their money in stupid things. You learn really quickly when there's no regulator to back you up. So don't invest. Don't risk your money in a rigged casino. And that's what this fake sense of security is with the SEC and the CFTC. We're ensuring that we have calm markets and fair markets. Bullshit. You're ensuring that the con goes on, the rig goes on, the cover-ups go on. So yes, we not only need to get rid of Gary Gensler, we need to get rid of the entire SEC and the CFTC and every other regulator. I once counted all the regulators. It was like 300 different regulators around the world that are trying to get their hands in the middle of this shit because they want to rig it better than the next guy. It's kind of like the elections. The reason they'd never change the election rules is because they don't want it fixed. They want to cheat. So it comes down to who's the best cheater, who controls the ballot box, the best cheater, who controls the computer that tallies all the votes, the best cheater. We got to get out of this insane world. That's why cryptocurrency, the blockchain, is so important for decentralization, because nobody's going to look to Gary Gensler for the answers. Nobody's going to look to Janet Yellen or Jerome Powell for answers. Nobody's going to look to the IMF or the WEF or the BIS for answers. We're not going to go to the guys that Dick Allgaier likes to talk about. Oh, they control the world. They control everything. No. We need to break away from that shit. That's what the cryptos will help us do. Keep the fight. Keep fighting. So yes, every country is running away from the United States. And that's got to do. And where are they running? Right into the arms of China. We are losing the battle. Remember, the United States created the unbacked fiat system that we live in today in 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve. And our plan was to run it as long as it benefits us. We're hitting that point where it no longer benefits the United States to run an unbacked fiat monetary system, so we're going to pull the plug very soon. That's why Ventures Gibson can't make enough silver eagles or gold eagles, but mainly silver eagles. It's because we have to save them for the new monetary system. Bitcoin knows. I don't know how high Bitcoin will go. And, the funny thing is why people go, oh, there's like Bitcoin maximalist type people. They were smart in the old system. And the first thing they can get their head around when they start to understand digital scarcity is Bitcoin, because that's more acceptable to their peers than every other cryptocurrency. And then it got to Ethereum. It's more acceptable to their peers. The amazing thing is Litecoin is right there with Bitcoin. As far as the SEC is concerned, it says Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Those are the only commodities. Everything else is a security, according to Gary Gensler, which is insane. But hey, Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. I like Litecoin a hell of a lot more than I like Bitcoin, mainly because of the valuation. The valuation is 300 to 1. It's like silver and gold right now is 80 to 1. If you like Bitcoin, buy as much Litecoin as you can right now. Sell your Bitcoin for Litecoin, you get 300 to 1. And then when the world starts to wake up that Litecoin is a means of exchange, just like Bitcoin can be to a point, Bitcoin doesn't want to be a means of exchange. They want to be a store of value. And the core developers are completely taking over Bitcoin. But Litecoin, no. Litecoin's the call if you're going to invest, in my opinion. Everybody's got their own. And then you got Theta, which is going to change the world of what you're watching right now. Video streaming. Decentralized video streaming. They've got it. They've got the technology. They've patented the technology. It's just a matter of when it's implemented and who's going to be on board. It's still insane that Theta has not been traded on Coinbase yet. And every other exchange is getting shut down. It's crazy. Crazy, I tell you, crazy. Anyway, that's what's going on today. Get your silver. I know it's hard. You're starting to freak out about premiums. A lot of the premiums up $4, $5, $6 over spot. You're like, my God, I can't pay that kind of premium. Well, if you want the real thing, you're going to have to from here on out. The COMEX price is the lie. Premiums are reflecting the fact that the COMEX price is a lie. And that system is run by the bad guys for now. It will be ending very soon. That's why the top four banks, the top four shorts that have rigged the market since the introduction of electronic trading in the early 1970s, they're all getting out of their short position. It is very clear what is going to happen. You just got to have the physical metal in your own possession when it does. If you don't have a local coin shop, call my guy Andy Scheckman. Send him an email, info at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. I'm going to have him on tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Belt and Road and what is happening. Andy's been predicting this for a very long time. And it's coming true. He doesn't even have to go down the conspiracy route. He has fun with it on the road to Ruta, but he doesn't have to take that drastic of a stance, a position that, no, who believes Bix Weir? Well, a lot more people now than they did before. And I'm saying the exact same thing I've been saying since 2007. It's just happening. Everything is happening now. Get your physical silver in your own possession. Anyway, I'll post that tomorrow, and we move on. We move on. Make sure you get physical silver in your own possession. We're about to hit Unobtainium, and that's going to be a really fun time if you have silver. If you don't, you're going to be freaking out trying to find it anywhere and everywhere. I'm not going to pay a $50 premium on silver. Yes, you will. You will end up paying a $50 premium or a $100 premium when silver's up at $800, $900. Think about that as you're paying your $3 or $4 premium right now, or $5 premium. If Silver Eagles, I just want to note, Silver Eagles very soon, when silver gets closer to $30, Silver Eagles will be trading over $50, over the all-time high. Keep that in mind, because Ventures Gibson surely ain't going to sell them to the public. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.